Have you ever been part of a group project where things just felt a bit messy?
Oh, definitely.
Like maybe it wasn't totally clear who was doing what or if anyone was really, checking the final thing.
Yeah, happens all the time.
Well, in the world of IT audit and assurance, especially when the stakes can be pretty high, that kind of uncertainty just isn't really an option. You need clear expectations, solid oversight. It's fundamental.
Absolutely. And, within the IT audit profession, these aren't just sort of vague good ideas. They're actually formalized.
Okay.
So today we're going to dive deep into Performance Standard 1204, which is all about performance and supervision, and also its partner, Performance Guidelines 2204. Both come from ISACA's ITAF, that's the IT audit framework.
Right, ITF. So think of this deep dive as, well, getting the inside scoop on how rigorous IT audits actually get done. For you, listening, understanding these standards kind of peels back the curtain. It shows the processes that ensure IT assurance is reliable. It's really about grasping the blueprint behind a sound IT audit.
And it's worth remembering as we go through this that ITAE from ISACA, it's really the go-to guide for IT audit pros. It's the framework they use for best practices.
Got it.
So let's jump in. Performance Standard 1204. Think of this as the core principles, like the what needs to happen.
Oh, what? Okay.
And the very first principle, 1204.1, it's all about sticking to the plan.
Right. Adherence to the approved IT audit plan. Seems pretty straightforward, doesn't it? The audit work needs to cover the risks they identified in planning and stay on schedule.
Exactly. It's like trying to build a house without following the blueprints.
Yeah, you'd end up with something wonky.
Probably. It keeps the audit focused, efficient, and makes sure the important stuff actually gets covered.
Yeah.
Then, point 1244.2 brings in supervision. Supervision of the IT audit staff.
Ah, okay, so oversight. It's not just people working in silos.
Precisely. The people with supervisory responsibility, they're accountable. They need to make sure the whole team meets the audit objectives and the professional standards.
So there's a layer of guidance, review.
Yes, active supervision. It maintains quality, consistency, throughout the whole engagement.
Makes sense, like having good instructors guiding students, keeping them on track. Next up is 1204.3, accepting tasks only within your competence.
Yeah.
This feels pretty fundamental, professionally speaking.
It really is. Practitioners should only take on tasks they actually have the skills for. Now, that doesn't mean you can't learn on the job.
Boy.
But if you don't have the skills up front, there needs to be a realistic way to get them during the audit, and crucially with proper supervision. It's about not setting people up to fail, basically.
That seems fair. Protects the audit quality, but also helps people grow, maybe with support. Then 1204.4, obtaining sufficient and appropriate evidence. You mentioned appropriate is about quality earlier.
That's right. This is, well, a cornerstone. Sufficient evidence just means having enough proof to back up your findings.
The quantity.
Yeah, the quantity. Appropriate evidence, though, that's about the quality of that proof. Is it relevant? Is it reliable? Kind of like in science, you need enough data points, and they need to be good, accurate data points related to your hypothesis.
Gotcha. Not just piles of stuff, but the right stuff, and enough of it. And the last part of the, standard 1204.5, documenting the audit process. Sounds like keeping a good record.
Exactly. You need to document the work you did and, critically, the evidence that supports your findings and conclusions. It's vital.
Why vital?
Well, it allows for review, it's a reference for later, and it shows the audit was done properly, professionally, like a detailed lab notebook.
Okay, so those are the core what's in standard 1204. Now let's shift to the performance guidelines 2204. If the standard is the what, these guidelines are more the how, right? The practical steps.
That's a great way to put it. Guideline 2204.1 starts with planning and performing the work, and it links right back to that audit engagement project plan we mentioned.
From standard 1203, yeah.
Right, so this guideline explains how that initial plan really sets the stage. It outlines the scope, the key risks, the skills needed, all crucial for getting the work done well and on time. It's that upfront thinking.
And guideline 2204.2, performing the work, it hammers home sticking to the plan again, but it adds something important about the impact of findings.
Yeah, this is interesting. It stresses evaluating the impact of any control weaknesses or findings on the overall audit objectives.
So not just finding a problem, but figuring out what it means for the big picture.
Exactly. How does this small issue affect the main goals of the audit? You need to connect the dots, like understanding how one tiny faulty part in a machine could cause a bigger breakdown.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Connecting observations to the overall assurance.
Mhm.
Okay, Guideline 2204.3 gets into roles, responsibilities, knowledge, skills, the team stuff.
This one's about leadership responsibility, defining who does what, designing the methodology, creating work programs, figuring out who executes, who reviews, how to handle issues that pop up. It's about building a solid, structured team.
Clear roles, clear processes, sounds essential for complex work. Now, 2204.4 digs deeper into supervision, and it says it's not just a one-time check.
No, definitely not. Guideline 2204.4 really emphasizes that supervision is ongoing. It happens at every stage.
Right.
And, how much supervision is needed depends. It depends on the staff's experience, how complex the audit is.
Makes sense. And it lists key aspects of good supervision.
It does. Things like making sure the team has the right skills mix, having a proper plan and program approved, reviewing the work papers. That's huge.
Checking the work.
Yeah, checking the work. Also, clear communication with the people being audited, making sure the whole work program actually gets done, and interestingly, providing chances for the team to develop professionally.
Oh, that's good. So supervision is also about mentoring, kind of, not just checking boxes.
Exactly. And that work paper review, it's critical for quality control. The guideline says it confirms procedures were done, the evidence is good enough, sufficient, and appropriate, and the conclusions actually make sense based on that evidence. It's a key check.
Very important step. Then 2204.5 gives practical advice on that competence point from the standard only taking tasks you can handle.
Right. It gets practical. It suggests things like, okay, learn on the job, but make sure you have a supervision.
Right?
Or if a task is a stretch, arrange for good supervision beforehand. And you can use external experts sometimes, but try to get some knowledge transfer back to the internal team too. Build that internal skill set over time.
That sounds like a smart, balanced approach.
Yeah.
Internal growth plus outside help when needed. Okay, Guideline 2204.6, back to documentation, but in more detail. Why so critical again?
Well, 2204.6 basically says thorough documentation is essential for planning, performing, and reviewing audits. It's the official record.
The lab notebook.
Pretty much. It lists key things to document. Objectives, scope, the plan, the work program, the steps taken, the evidence found, conclusions, recommendations, all of it.
And it needs to show who did what and what evidence they looked at.
Yes, exactly. Who did the task, what evidence was requested and obtained, and it all needs to support the accuracy and completeness of the work. Clear accountability.
Got it. Guideline 2204.7 then revisits evidence, linking back to 204.4, but gives more detail on types and techniques.
Yeah, it fleshes out that idea of appropriate evidence. It talks about different types. Physical evidence you can see and touch, documents, testimonials like from interviews, and analytical evidence like comparing data sets.
Different kinds of proof.
Right, and it lists techniques to get it. Asking questions, inquiry, watching processes, observation, examining records, inspection, and even redoing a process yourself, reperformance, to check it. It gives auditors a toolkit.
So asking, watching, looking, redoing. Makes sense. Okay, last one. Guideline 2204.8 offers other considerations. Sounds like a wrap-up of best practices.
It is, yeah. It pulls several key things together, like matching team skills to the job, properly supervising any external help, managing team roles, clearly assigning, delegating, coordinating review, finding root causes, writing the report.
Lots of management aspects there.
Definitely. Also, making sure someone else reviews each person's work. Always aiming for the best available evidence. If you don't have enough, go get more.
Don't just stop.
Right. Ask yourself, would another knowledgeable person reach the same conclusion based on this evidence? Document who did what, when, and get written representations from the auditee on key things.
Written representations, what's that about?
It's basically getting management, people being audited, to formally confirm their understanding and assertions about critical areas, any major issues discussed, resolutions, that sort of thing. It adds a layer of formal agreement.
Oh, okay. Formal confirmation from their side. Seems important for clarity.
It can be, absolutely. Ensures everyone's on the same page about key points.
Well, that was quite a detailed walkthrough of Performance Standard 1204 and Guidelines 2204. It really does show the structure and depth involved in a proper IT audit.
It does. Taken together, these standards and guidelines really drive home the need for work that's planned, supervised, and well-documented. That whole framework is what ensures IT audits are done with due care and lead to reliable conclusions based on solid evidence.
And for you, listening, understanding these principles, it really gives you insight into the rigor behind IT assurance. It helps you appreciate why you can, hopefully, trust the findings
Yeah.
because you see the process behind them.
Exactly. It's not just the what of the results, but the why and the how they got there. A deeper appreciation, really.
So thinking about all this detail, the performance, the supervision, the documentation, it makes you wonder, doesn't it? What other parts of IT audit need this kind of meticulous attention to really build that trust and ensure accuracy? Something to think about.